Hey, welcome back to Monday Mojo. Today is July the 22nd of 2019. Glad to have you here. So we're working our way through the NAR member profile report. Always like really exciting reading, right? So if you watch a couple minutes of my video, you don't have to read all of this, or at least maybe you still should, because there's so much more in here that I can get into in a couple minutes. But one of the things that I want to talk about today goes back to what was in the report, one of the things in the report, which is that for the sixth straight consecutive year, buyers referenced finding available housing that meets their criteria as the number one obstacle. And I think that's really interesting. When we look at new construction nationally, not just locally, but nationally, there are estimates that the new construction market is underserved by anywhere from 20 to 50%. In terms of housing starts based on market conditions. So obviously there's not as much new construction going into the market. Availability of spec funding for builders to borrow money, cost of materials, labor costs, availability of labor, those are all contributing factors into why new construction isn't maybe being met by the public the way that we'd like it to. We'd like to see more housing starts, we'd like to see more new construction, but it just isn't happening. So that's put more demand on resale housing. Obviously, millennials are a big part of the home buying process. Roughly a third of all buyers are 32 and 33, and whether it's median or average, but they're making up roughly a third of the home buying market, and their average income is around $75,000. Walkability is really important to the millennial buyer in a way that maybe it hasn't been to baby boomers or Gen Xers. Interestingly, in 2001, 69% of all first-time buyers used a realtor, and in 2018, 87% of all first-time buyers used a realtor. So that's a really interesting trend. Also, we saw that buy owners dropped to only 7% of the marketplace. So, there's the really interesting disconnect there. With a shortage of inventory, the number of people selling by owner has dropped. Obviously, what we do has value. And the number one source of housing information that buyers referenced was the internet. Roughly 50% of the buyers said that was their number one source of house buying information versus 28% was the second category, and that was from the agent. So that is sort of a jumping off point that I'd like to make today. If roughly double the number of people are finding information online about housing versus through their agent, perhaps we need to do a better job of communicating with our clients. Seth Godin has a great quote that I just love. People do not buy goods and services, they buy relations, stories, and magic. So you need to be the one that makes that magic happen in a way that surpasses the 50% number from online sources so that you become the trusted lead source for every buyer out there. And we're going to continue talking about this some more in the weeks to come, but I think that's a great jumping off point. Thanks for being here. Make it a great week.